morning. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kiera, your friendly neighborhood regional flight attendant. Excuse me. And it is currently 3:49 a.m. and I'm just leaving the gym, as you guys saw. I got up around 2:30 today. I sit hot this morning. This is the start of a 5-day short call block for me, and crew scheduling is already anticipating not having to use me. How do I know that, you ask? Because they also have me sitting hot tomorrow morning. So we'll see how today goes. I'm gonna head home, shower, and make my way to the airport. I will catch up with you guys once I'm all dressed and ready to go. To the employee lot. It's a little after 5 and my report time's not till 6:30, but when I have these early hot sits, there's a specific seat I like to sit in so I can put my feet up, so that's why I'm here early. Not really rushing, but the shuttle bus is here, so I'm gonna take full advantage of that. To the crew room, and right now I'm the only one in here, and I was able to get the seat that I like where I can put my feet up. So we're gonna sit here and see if crew scheduling uses me. Guess who did not get used while sitting hot today? This girl. So day 1 of my 5-day block, I sat hot and was not used. I figured that was going to happen considering, well, let me not say that. I had a 80% inkling that was going to happen because crew scheduling had put on my schedule for me to sit hot tomorrow as well already. I say 80% because it stormed last night and it did delay quite a few flights into today. So I thought that there was a possibility that I was going to end up working some of those flights, but because the delay happened yesterday, crew scheduling was able to call in a couple people on short call to work those flights. They even called some people to work those flights that had later trips in the day so that they wouldn't have to use someone on hot. They got real creative. Learned all that in the crew room today. So I'm heading home. I sit hot tomorrow, not as early. So there's possibility I'll end up being used. I don't know. I do not know. I have 3 days after tomorrow. So if they don't use me, there's a couple of 2-day trips that they can use, but they've already assigned everything for tomorrow. So the only way I would get used is if someone calls out. Now, it is a Friday. That's, in my opinion, is a call out day for some people. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to head home and just get myself ready. I'll unpack a few things because I packed for a 5-day. I will start unpacking as crew scheduling doesn't use me. That way my suitcase isn't as stuffed, because as y'all know, I'm a regional flight attendant. Our bin space it's not conducive for these bags, and I hate having to valet tag my bag when I'm working a flight. It's one more thing I have to think of when that flight is over, and I have enough on my mind when it comes to these flights. So yeah, I will check in with you guys later. I'm gonna go ahead and fight this traffic because I don't know where it's coming from. I thought this would be a good time to leave, but apparently so did everyone else. So but I'll hit you guys up later with what's going on for this 5-day. So hopefully we get some flying, but we shall see. This is not an each one let one. This is not an each one let one. I am not doing that. No. I want to go home. Let me get off this phone, because y'all know how my low tolerance for road foolishness can get. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off now. Good morning. The time is now 5:04 a.m. I am in the car, letting my car warm up before I head to the airport. I sit hot today again. As of right now, nothing's been assigned. I have 4 days left of this 5-day block, and we'll see what happens. It's very cold outside. There is frost on the cars now. It's that time. I feel like winter has made her final stance against summer weather, and even fall weather is catching some strays because of it. So yeah, it's cold. I have time. I don't have my report time's 7:30 today. I am heading in early because I want to secure my seat. That corner seat is prime real estate in that crew room, because I like to put my feet up, and I can do that without being in the way in that corner seat. So I'm gonna try and get there as quickly as I can, and in my mind, the sooner I get there, the sooner I can leave. I know it doesn't work that way, but mentally that's how I see it. So, but they don't assign me anything by 3:30 today. Heading back home, and tomorrow they have me on short call. So we'll see what happens. I would be very surprised if I didn't fly at all on a 5-day block. The 3-day blocks, yeah, that was shocking, but it's 3 days. A 5-day block and not flying, that's odd. There's a couple things in open time, but they're 2-day trips that would start on my last 2 days of my short call block. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated as to what's going on. But yeah, I'm just gonna let my car warm up, and then we're gonna make our way to the airport. got called off of hot and I am now in Detroit. We had one flight today. I was a forward girly and it was a pretty quick flight. Sorry if I'm talking kind of fast. We have an early report time tomorrow morning, so we are going to go out and eat real quick. So I have probably like 15 minutes to get my life together now to meet everyone downstairs so then we can go eat. So don't worry, I'm gonna recap with you guys because recap is what I need to do. But I will see you guys in a little bit. Let me change my clothes so I can meet the crew downstairs. All right, I have changed and I am going to head out and meet with my crew. I have my key this time because I'm notorious for leaving my key. So let's see where we head. Get some food, maybe a drink, because today's been a day. I have made it back to the room and I am ready to get ready for bed. I am going to do that first and then I'll come back and talk to you guys. We ended up just going to the restaurant at the hotel, which I ain't mad at because it's cold outside. I do not like being cold, and as cute as this hoodie is, it's not as warm as I need it to be. Like, had we ended up leaving the hotel, I probably would have came back upstairs and grabbed that all-weather coat. I ain't even gonna hold you because it's cold outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and shower, get in the bed, and then I'll come back to you guys in just a sec. Hello, the time is now 8:05 p.m. I have gotten everything ready. I ironed my uniform for tomorrow. I packed up stuff. Well, I didn't really unpack, but I packed up like my uniform that I wore today. I put my lunches in the fridge, and the dinner that I had left over, I put that in the fridge as well. And let me set these alarms because we have such an early report time. You are alarms. I have a 4:40 report time, so the latest I want to get up is 3:30. Let me add another alarm in here because I know me. AM and not PM. What's tomorrow? Today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday, so we'll do it like as a weekend thing. Cool, save. All right. No, thank you. So, have my alarm set. I'll set the one on my phone once I'm finished recording this. But yeah, just to recap. So, I was sitting hot today, and I got called like literally an hour before I was about to leave. I truly despise when they do that. But anyway, I just worked one flight today from DC to Detroit. I'm currently in Detroit, and it was a full flight. It was hot on that plane. Now, it's cold outside. It's freezing outside, but it was very hot on the aircraft. And it wouldn't have been so bad if we weren't just sitting in the aircraft for a good little minute after boarding, because we needed fuel, and the fuelers put too much fuel in the plane, so then they had to do whatever it is they needed to do to get that out. But we had already been sitting there for I won't say a while, but we had already been sitting there, and past the time we needed to close the main cabin door. So I had already picked up my pre-departure drinks from first class because I was a forward girly today. But it wasn't hot in first class because I still had the main cabin door open, so you still get a breeze. But in the main cabin, it was like a sauna in there. So after the captain said that it was going to take a while, I asked him, I said, well, do we have time to get at least some water to the main cabin because it's so hot back there? He was like, yeah, we have time for that. So me and the other flight attendant, the one who was working in the main cabin, I poured the water and then she passed it out to the main cabin. And then I went through before we closed the main cabin door and picked up the cups. So they were very grateful for that. We were told that once we get in the air, they would be able to cool down the aircraft. I was like, okay, bet. So we get in the air, and the ding goes off to let us know that we've reached 10,000 so we can start preparing for service. And so before we did service, I called the flight attendant to ask. I was like, hey, did it cool down back there? And she was like, no, it's still hot. So before she did her announcements, I called the flight deck, like, hey, can you guys cool it down in main cabin? And so they said they're gonna cool it down. So I made an announcement to let everyone know, like, I've alerted the flight deck that it is still warm in the main cabin. We are currently working on getting it cooled down. So we getting ready to do service, and as the flight attendant, so I prepared the cart, and then I am getting out the sheet where I wrote down all the drink orders for the first class, and the flight, she comes up and she's like, does it smell like burning rubber to you? Now, mind you, at this point, I had turned on the coffee maker, so I was like, oh, maybe it's the coffee maker. I was like, what I'm smelling is coffee. I'm burning around. So she was like, it's not in the main cabin, it's like towards the front. So I step out into the first class area, and from about like the second row, I could smell like a rubbery, it smelled like rubber. And so I was like, we didn't go over rubber smells in in training. So while she went back to do her service, I called the flight deck. I'm like, hey, I was like, it smells like rubber up here. And I was like, and it's just in like the front of the aircraft. And I was like, we didn't smell it on the ground. We smell it once we got in the air. So they were like, oh, we're gonna call you back. So it was like I don't want to call it telephone, but there were a couple times where flight deck called back, like, do you still smell it? And because at this time they're messing around with the AC unit as well to try and cool things off. So they were like, is it just rubber? Is it a burning rubber smell? I said, my other flight attendant, she says it smells like burning rubber. I was like, it doesn't smell like burning rubber to me, but I know that it does smell like burning rubber to her. I was like, I don't see anything to confirm that it is burning. I was like, I can smell the rubber, but it's not as, I guess my nose is not as sensitive as her nose was to the scent. So they were like, call back if you see smoke, or if you continue to smell the smell. So I was like, okay. So got through service in the first class. We were fine. I kept checking out the windows. So the window in the galley, I kept looking out that window to make sure I didn't see anything. And then the passenger windows, as I was doing service, I was also glancing out their windows as well, just to make sure that I didn't see anything. I was checking in the cabin, just make sure, because that's the last thing we needed. No. So yeah, we got through service, got on the ground. The plane never cooled down. Thankfully, when we got there, the gate agent was there. It didn't take long for them to hook up the jetway, and they were pretty quick with the valet bag. So that was helpful. Like, it was cold when we got to Detroit, as I mentioned probably a couple times, just a few times earlier, that it was a little chilly. And like, passengers in the main cabin were walking off without their coats, and they were relieved to feel that breeze when they got off the plane. So we definitely let the new crew coming on know, like, hey, we had problems with cooling things down in the aircraft, so just brace yourself. And we went through a lot of the water that was in there, but luckily they're going back to base, so they'll replenish all of that. It was just, y'all, it was a lot. So like I said, we only had the one leg, and then we came to the hotel. Thankfully, when we got down to where they were picking us up, the shuttle van pulled right up, because I do remember the last time I stayed here, we were waiting so long for the shuttle van to come get us. So I was very happy that, I mean, there was a couple other crews that were there that had been waiting. Bless their hearts, they did the hard work for us. But when we walked up, the shuttle van pulled up. Then when we got here, we went to the food, I guess it's basically the bar area to have food. Because like I said, we have an early report time, so it's kind of, because of the delay with the fuel and everything, this trip turned into like a minimum rest type trip. Although it wasn't going to be a long layover. I think it was like scheduled 12 hours originally, and now we were down to like 10 and a half, 11 hours. So that min rest period. Tomorrow, we have 2 flights. So Detroit to DC. Thankfully, it's not on the same aircraft. So Detroit to DC, and then DC to Columbia, South Carolina. And we'll be done at like 10 o'clock. So the crew that I'm with, did not mention. So I got pulled off hot. The captain and the FO both got pulled off hot. And the other flight attendant, she was actually scheduled for a different trip. And they took her off that trip and put her on this one. So she was already out flying, and she had to sit in DC and was waiting for a deadhead back to her base. She's based in Philly. And instead of her deadheading back to Philly, they put her on this trip. So her and I have the 3-day right now. And the captain and the FO, we get a new one when we get back to DC to go to Columbia. So we work with the crew. We just do the overnight with the crew that we had today. Then we get 2 new pilots, and we're switching aircrafts. And then when we get to DC, and then, give me a second, y'all. They literally just put this on my schedule, so I don't have everything memorized, and I also was shook when I got it, so a little trauma. Okay, so yeah, so DC to Columbia. So then on Sunday, and I know this isn't going to stay the same. If it stays the same, I'm going to be shocked. So go from Columbia to Charlotte, Charlotte to MYR. What's that? Let's find out. Oh, I didn't log into this. I'll come back tomorrow morning and let y'all know what that is. But it's Charlotte to MYR, then MYR back to Charlotte, and then I have a 2-hour and 40-minute sit in Charlotte to allegedly deadhead back to DC to be done for the day. Now, I'm on reserve, so the likelihood of that happening, slim to none. Slim to none, especially since I still have one more day after that. So I'm on reserve till Monday. So the odds of them actually letting me deadhead back to DC and then releasing me, hell, I don't even think I'm gonna deadhead to DC. I feel like while I'm sitting in Charlotte, so same thing they did to the other flight attendant that I'm flying with now, because she's supposed to deadhead back to Philly, but then she has 2 days after that available. So I was like, yeah, they put that deadhead on there to give them time to find something else. I know they did, because that's what they did. So, yeah, so allegedly deadheading back to DC and then sitting short call on Monday. Comment below if you think that that's actually going to happen, because please make a believer out of me. Make a believer out of me. Because I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. If it happens, I will be very shocked, but we'll see. We'll see. So it's currently 8:18. I'm going to go to bed now, because it's such an early report time. Each day is an early report time, actually. I say each day, like tomorrow is what I should have said. Tomorrow's an early report time. So we have a 4:40 van tomorrow for a 5:21 report time. And then Columbia, we have a 4:30 report time, so I'm sure that van time is probably like somewhere between, depending on how far the airport is from Columbia. I don't think I've stayed here before. I could have, but yeah, these overnights be blending. They all the same at some point, sometimes. So it's a 4:30 report time in Columbia. So that van time is probably like 3:45. Between 3:45 and 4 o'clock is probably the van time. Hell, could be earlier, depending on how far the airport is from the hotel. So I'm gonna go ahead and give me some rest. I will see you guys in the morning as I get ready. Tomorrow I'm gonna be an aft girly, so. Oh, and it's not a full flight. I checked, but y'all have seen me check before, and it's not a full flight, and all of a sudden they find all these passengers. So, but as of right now, it's not supposed to be a full flight tomorrow, heading into DC. But DC to Columbia, depending on the aircraft that we're on, I think we're going to be on a 700. I know we're on a 700 leaving from here to DC. But I think we're going to be on a 700 going from DC to Columbia. So if we're on a 700, it is a pretty full aircraft. If we're on a 900, there's a couple empty seats, and I can get that back row to myself. But we'll see. We'll cross that bridge together when we get there. So I will stop rambling, and I will talk to you lovely people later. See you in the morning. Good morning. It is currently 4:26 a.m. I am finishing up packing my stuff so that I can head downstairs and meet my crew. We have a 4:40 van time, so I'm gonna start making my way downstairs and everything all packed up. And as I told you guys last night, I knew my schedule wasn't going to stay the same. Crew scheduling didn't even let me wait that long. They've already added 4 legs total, and plus a deadhead to the end of my schedule. So last night when I was talking to you guys, Sunday was the last day they had me scheduled, and then I sat short call on Monday. They took that deadhead off and put a Charlotte to Mississippi leg. Then the next day I have a Mississippi back to Charlotte, Charlotte to Richmond, Richmond back to Charlotte, and then deadhead from Charlotte to DC. Oh, that what was a 2-hour and 40-minute sit in Charlotte has now turned into a 4.5-hour sit in Charlotte. We're just gonna roll with the punches. We are gonna roll with the punches, y'all. This is partially part of the reason that I don't do 5-day blocks, 5 and 6 day blocks. This is part of the reason why I end up with these wild adventures, but it's all good. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish getting ready, get my stuff, and I'll see you guys at the airport. Made it on board. I am going to act early today. We board in 6 minutes, so go ahead and finish. I've already got my pre-flights. It's not a full flight at all, which I'm not mad at all. And it should be smooth sailing. So I will see you guys when we get to DC. In about 1 minute, we had a plane swap, so we're on the new plane, completely full flight. So, but not a long one. It's at about 58 minutes in the air. So we'll go ahead and get these people to Columbia, and I'll check back in with you guys later. Have made it to the hotel and do a quick room tour because I definitely didn't do one yesterday. This is the bathroom. There I am. That toilet area, shower. Ooh, oh, they fancy. Oh, they got Dove. Okay. Is that the sensitive? I use the sensitive, so we'll see. My stuff in my way. We have a full-length mirror, love it. Cute little desk area. I'll probably charge my EFB over here so I can charge my stuff over there. Fridge, and like y'all know, star of the show. Star of the show, microwave in the room. Oh, there's a Keurig too, but I'm not a coffee drinker. Microwave in the room. We got 2 beds, love that for me. There's a closet in here. Nice and spacious. Nice area here for my stuff. Lovely, lovely. Like I said, 2 beds. And I love when the beds have this little, y'all hear that? The little barrier underneath. Because I don't have to get on the floor and check and make sure nobody in there. TV. Another mirror. Woo, shot of me. There is the window. Nice view. The couch. It's very spacious in here. The carpet could leave something to be desired, but very, very spacious. Very spacious. It's cute. Very cute. I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and get changed. We have a new captain and a new FO, and they're planning to go out to eat today. I could definitely put some food in my tum-tum. It's like lunchtime. It's 10:42. We're calling it brunch. So I do have my lunch with me. I'll eat later. But I'm going to go out, see what's popping, see what's going on. They seem pretty cool. And we're going to probably talk about how being on reserve will turn every which way but loose. And unless you are currently on reserve or have ever been on reserve, you you don't appreciate it the way that we do. So we're gonna head out. We do have a very early van time tomorrow, much earlier than I had today. We have a 4:03, 4:04. It's on the key. Let me confirm that for y'all. 4:03 a.m. 4:03 a.m. van time. So definitely want to get everything done. I'm not going to speak on what I plan to do. I'm just going to do it because I don't know if I'm going to actually do it. And if I speak on it, then I'm going to feel obligated to have to do it. And I don't want to put that kind of pressure on me. And I know y'all don't want to either. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. So let me go ahead and get changed so I can meet my crew downstairs and go eat. All right. I am all dressed. Yes, y'all saw this yesterday, but you're going to see it again today. And I'm going to, since I open the blinds, I'll turn off the lights. Oh, I missed one. Try to preserve energy as best I can. Okay, tap that light 3-4 times, turn it on. So I'm gonna head downstairs. It is 10:54. Everyone, do I have the key? Yes, I do. Okay. They should be on their way down already. Which way did I come? I came this way. So, we'll see where we head. As y'all can see, I am back in the room. We went on a hike. I think my watch is still going. My goodness, hold on. Let me turn this off so I can log my workouts. Act like you know what you're doing. Okay. Yeah, it was nice. It was probably 3 miles there and back. So 1.5 miles there, 1.5 miles back. As you guys saw, we went through a farmer's market that we passed on the way there. They were closing up by the time we got there, but it was nice. It was really nice. The food was great. Conversation was great. I enjoy this crew. I am sad that I think we have like 3 more legs together and then we disperse. But story of our aviation lives. I am tired. I'm probably gonna take a nap. No, I'm gonna hold you. I'm probably gonna take a nap. And then we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. So I'll hit you guys up later if I decide to do anything outside of the room. But yeah, it ain't looking like it. Good morning. The time is now 3:48 a.m. I am all packed and dressed, about to head downstairs. I have a 4:03 van time. And this morning, when I checked my phone, I had a lovely notification from Crew Mobile. Crew scheduling has changed my schedule yet again. So it's going to be what it originally was when they first put this trip on for me. So I am allegedly just doing Columbia to Charlotte. a Myrtle Beach turn, and then deadheading from Charlotte to DC. We'll see if it stays that way, but they took the Mississippi overnight, and it was I think it was like Mississippi back to Charlotte and then a Richmond turn before deadheading to DC. They took that away. So I'm allegedly going to be on short call tomorrow. So we'll see. Let me go ahead and get my life together, get downstairs so that we can head to this airport. All right, we have made it to Charlotte. I didn't check in with you guys when we were in Columbia. Things were a little fast paced. It was really, really quick, like under an hour. I think it was like maybe 15, 20 minutes in the air, to be honest with you. I am a Ford girly today, and we have about 6 minutes to boarding. I'm gonna do a quick Myrtle Beach turn and then allegedly deadhead to DC. I got to see my classmate. I hope to see her again if they don't use her. She's sitting hot today, and I'll see if she wants to be in the vlog. And we'll go from there. So I'll check back in with you guys probably when we get back to Charlotte. Overnight that they had added to my schedule, and I'm just deadheading to DC and allegedly gonna be done after that. Heavy on the allegedly because they have changed my schedule so many times in this 5-day block. I'm still available to work tomorrow, so that's why I feel like they're gonna give me something. Because it's too much like right
That's 54 minutes, Mother.
I am so glad I was able to change my seat to a window seat at the gate. So yeah, y'all, let's go. We're gonna get to DC, and don't worry, I'll give a more thorough update of what I've gone through today, from when we left Columbia to getting to Charlotte to deadheading to DC. So I definitely will get that all squared away. So I will get back up with y'all in a little bit. Good afternoon. I have been released for today by crew scheduling after so many turns of events today, and don't you worry, I will break those down momentarily. Y'all, this 5-day block, it's not over yet. I have one more day of short call available, which is tomorrow, and I don't know how that's gonna go. I do know I won't have to be dragging around all the bags that I have for tomorrow, because if they call me, I will just be working a turn, if that. So I am I laugh because it's the name of that reserve game. I tell y'all, it is absolutely crazy being on reserve. Things change so often. If you're looking to be a flight attendant, whether regional or, well, I can only speak from regional experience being on reserve. I've never worked for mainline. I'm not sure if the reserve time period is the same, if they treat reserve people the same, if you're on reserve for the same amount of time. But regional reserve, not for the faint of heart, y'all. Not for the faint of heart. It is something else. And not just for flight attendants, speaking to the pilots that are on reserve, so the first officers and the captains as well. Crew scheduling turns them every which way but loose as well. So today started, I'm gonna park because I need to use my GPS to get somewhere, and it's good to decompress. I know y'all probably tired of seeing my low tolerance for road foolishness. So I'm gonna sit tight for a hot second. So it started, excuse me. To recap, I had 2 hot reserve days at the beginning of the 5-day. So the first day, as y'all saw, they didn't use me. The second day, they waited until an hour before I was scheduled to leave to call me for a Detroit overnight. And I talked a little bit about what happened there. So then when I got to Columbia, my schedule has changed 3 or 4 times since this morning. So I was at Columbia last night. So when I woke up, when I went to sleep, my schedule was to do Columbia to Charlotte, a Myrtle Beach turn. So Charlotte to Myrtle Beach back to Charlotte. Then I was going to have a 4.5 hour sit, and then I was going to work a flight from Charlotte to Mississippi. I definitely was going to call crew scheduling for a day room for that 4.5 hour sit. I was not about to sit in the crew room for that long. When I woke up, they took and then after the Mississippi overnight, then tomorrow I was going to have a Mississippi back to Charlotte, and then a Richmond turn. So Charlotte to Richmond, Richmond back to Charlotte. And then I was going to deadhead from Charlotte to DC. And then that was going to be it. I was going to be done at like 7 p.m. or something like that. A little after 7, I believe. Then they took everything from Charlotte to Mississippi down. They took it off. So I was scheduled to just deadhead from Charlotte to DC and be done. By the time, so that was before the day started, today started. By the time I got back to Charlotte after my Myrtle Beach turn, they added an overnight. I was going back to Detroit. So I was going to still deadhead from Charlotte to DC. Then I was going to work a flight from DC to Detroit. Then tomorrow I was supposed to work a flight from Detroit to Philly, and then deadhead from Philly to DC. And I was actually going to see the flight attendant that I had been working with. She was scheduled the last time I spoke to her to deadhead from Philly to DC. So that was on my schedule for a good little while, but then my deadhead from Charlotte to DC got delayed because the inbound flight was delayed leaving from, where did it come from? If I remember correctly, I believe they came from Phoenix. So I deadheaded on a mainline aircraft, and they came from Phoenix. And they were delayed leaving Phoenix, so obviously they were delayed getting to Charlotte. And the delay was long enough that I wasn't going to get here. I wasn't going to get to DC in time to work the flight from DC to Detroit. So I did not call crew scheduling because I saw the notification that my deadhead was delayed. So, and they have in the past delayed a flight to get a crew member there to work it. And I looked at the flight. If they were going to delay a flight, this would have been a flight to delay. When I checked the flight information, Nobody had a connection. I mean, it would have been. It's 3:44 now. The flight was originally scheduled to leave at 3:04. So it would have been like they would have been sitting there for maybe like 30 minutes or so. They could have had the term facilitator help with boarding, and then I get there and then do what I need to do, and then we could go. But they called me so I walked to my gate a little before the aircraft, so about 20 minutes or so before the aircraft arrived in Charlotte. I had made the trek in Charlotte. And if you haven't been to Charlotte's airport, you know. I went from E gates, Echo, to B gates, Bravo. That was a hike. So I made the walk over there. And by the time I got to my gate, I had been standing there for a little bit. And I was on the phone talking to my sister. And Cruise Scheduling called me to tell me that they had removed me from the Detroit flight because of the delay of my deadhead flight. So I asked them at that point, did they have anything for me to do when I got to DC? I asked them, were they going to add anything else? So the rep, she checked, and she's like, she doesn't see anything to add as of right now, but that could change by the time we get to DC. I said, okay, that's true. So I was like, I will check Crew Mobile when I get to DC and call if anything. She was okay. I told her, thank you for letting me know, and got off the phone. Y'all, I napped. Oh, my eyes were closed before we got in the air. I usually like to record takeoff, landing, the clouds, all that. I didn't see any of that. I saw my eyelids. I'm not even gonna hold you. We had an early report time, so it was nothing for me to close my eyes. And when I got to, I honestly expected them to have anything to give to me, but they didn't. When I got to DC, once we landed, once some tires touched the ground, opened my eyes. And I checked Crew Mobile. I took my phone out of airplane mode, checked Crew Mobile. Then nothing had been added. So I called Crew Scheduling. And y'all, by the time we got to the gate, I was released. So I was like, okay, wonderful. So they released me for today. I checked in I notified for my 5 a.m. short call tomorrow. And now here I am. So and this actually works out. I have a couple little errands to run, and I can get started early on laundry and preparing my bag for two possible trips. So if they don't use me tomorrow, well, I'll prepare my book bag in case they use me tomorrow for a turn. If they don't use me tomorrow, I am off the day after, and then I have a 2-day short call block, the day before Thanksgiving and the day of Thanksgiving. And then I have a 4-day trip that I picked up at the end of the month, the day after Thanksgiving. So I'll probably prepare my bags for the 4-day trip. Excuse me. And then I'll save my book bag I'll prepare that last and I'll use that for the possible turn and probably for the 2-day that I could have, because dragging this luggage around is not for the faint of heart, not for the faint of wrist, not for the faint of anything. So I would much rather give my wrist a break and do that save it for like the longer trips, 3 days or more. But anything under that, I'm going to condense and pack in my book bag. So I'm gonna go ahead, head on out of here, run a couple errands, and I'll check back in with you guys probably tomorrow to let you guys know what happens with Crew Scheduling, if they use me or not. And oh my goodness, this is definitely I think out of all of my vlogs that I've recorded so far, this one is the closest to how life actually is on reserve. All of my other, I've been on reserve the whole time, but some of my trips that I made mention, I felt like a line holder because crew scheduling didn't touch the trip. So either it's a trip I picked up so I don't have to talk to crew scheduling, which, woohoo, we love that, or they've assigned me a trip and it stays the same throughout my trip. And when I call at the end of it, they release me and I go about my business. Feel like a line holder to an extent. But this right here, this reminds me of my early, when I first started as a flight attendant, those trips, this is bringing me back to that. And this is Reserve Life 101. And it's an adventure. You roll with the punches, you decompress how you need to decompress, and you go about your business. One of my friends, she's texting me. I saw her in Charlotte and we were talking and everything. So I'm going to check that message, and like I said, I'll hit you guys up tomorrow. I'm gonna definitely run my errands, decompress, and just enjoy this unexpected time off right now. So toodaloo. Good morning. It is currently 5:42 a.m. I am on my way to the airport a little later than I normally would like to leave out. My car was giving me problems this morning. Hopefully I can just get to the airport and get back. I just have a turn today. Of course, crew scheduling couldn't just let me sit at home. Apparently there was a flight that was delayed yesterday. I don't know if you guys can tell, like my car is like kind of shaking right now, but I had my brother look at it and we put oil in it. It's fine. My check engine light has come on, but I'm gonna cross that bridge a little bit later. Prayed over my car. I'm gonna get from point A. I just need to get to the airport. This would be a problem. Group scheduling would have just left me at home, but it's all good. We're gonna make it do what it do. I'm not gonna complain about it. I have a report time of 7, so I am not as calm as I normally am going to the airport. It's been a morning. It has been a morning, but it's okay. I'm gonna take a couple deep breaths. I'm gonna make it to the airport. Everything's gonna be okay, and then we'll go from there. I will check in with you guys when I get to the airport. I have made it to the airport. As I mentioned briefly earlier, I'm doing a turn. As of last night, they had me sitting hot today. And as of this morning, I'm working a flight from DC to Birmingham, and then deadheading from Birmingham back to DC. I am gonna go get me some Starbucks to try to get me a little pick-me-up, because this car situation it got me a little tight. But I'm gonna take that out on my passengers. So I'm gonna get me Starbucks, pick me up, and then I'll deal with it when I get back. Not what I ordered, but what I have to do. It is freezing down here, so I am heading on board. I believe I'm on a 900 today. This is a flight that delayed from yesterday due to maintenance, so it's not a full flight. It's just, here I am. We're just gonna, I got my drink. They made it wrong, but I'm just gonna deal with it. Let's see how today goes. Good morning again. I'm gonna be act early today. By choice, let me tell you. I think it'll be best. We have an all-female crew, y'all. I'm really excited. I'm very, very excited. So we are on a 900. We should be boarding soon. back to my car. The crew scheduling released me. I worked the flight from DC to Birmingham. We caught our deadhead from Birmingham back to DC, and I have been released. I am off tomorrow. So this is the end of my 5-day block. It was a wild one. Thanks for hanging in there with me. That DC to Birmingham flight was a little delayed because it took a while for us to get the paperwork to get out of there. But once we got that, we were well on our way. The passengers were very understanding for someone whose flight was like delayed 12 hours. So I greatly appreciated that. I am going to head home now. I am going to decompress. Oh, almost forgot. Y'all, crew scheduling tried me today. They tried me today. Let me tell you how they tried me. You may ask how. So, I don't know if I've mentioned in this vlog, but I did pick up a 4-day trip at the end of this month. So, I get a notification to a trip assignment that they were trying to see if I wanted to take while we were in the air. So the trip wouldn't pull up in Crew Mobile, but I kept refreshing my page and I didn't see the 4-day trip that I picked up. So I log into the system and I see that not only did they remove the 4-day trip that I had picked up in open time. Mind you, I picked this trip up in October for the end of November. Not only did they remove it, they had added 2 short call days to my period that I had already moved. So the reason I was able to pick up those days up is because I was off on those days. Y'all, I called crew scheduling with the quickness. As soon as we deplaned in Birmingham, I called them. And I said, I had a trip and I received a notification for a pairing. I didn't see what the trip was, but now I don't see my trip that I picked up. That it still shows approved in Flickr. And so they had me on hold for maybe like 5-7 minutes. I never got an explanation for what happened, but they fixed it. They put my trip back on my schedule, and they took the 2 extra short call days off that they had it. So I got curious and I went and I looked at the trip because it started on the 27th. I have the 27th and the 28th available. So I have 2 days of short call coming up. Y'all, why was it a 3-day trip that they were trying to notify me for? So that means somebody dropped my trip so that they could push that notification to me for this 3-day trip that they had. I wish I was making some of these things up. I really do. But crew scheduling tried it, but I kept my cool. But I promise you, the attitude was in the chamber in case it needed to come out. But she ain't had to come out. I put safety back on and I went about my business. By the time my deadhead flight arrived, Crew Mobile had updated. So I saw the trip was added back in Flickr. Crew Mobile's finally up to date. My trip is back. So I do have my 4-day trip coming up. Because, baby, play where it's safe. Because it ain't safe to play here. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make my way home. Hopefully these car troubles won't be too bad. As you can see, I haven't started my car yet. I'm going to figure that out and cross that bridge when we get to it. So Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, live freely, love always, travel often. Bye.